Moscow and Kiev may have agreed to a ceasefire on paper, but the fighting between pro-Russian rebels and government forces in eastern Ukraine continues. And despite Kremlin denials, young Russian men are crossing the border to join the battle. But if they're killed, the lack of official recognition means their families face the cost of bringing them home. Norman Hermont reports.
The lure of combat in eastern Ukraine, a strong pull for many young Russian men. No one is sure how many have joined the fighting. Zhana Pushkarova didn't even know her 18-year-old son, Yevgeny, had volunteered until he called from Ukraine.
I said, son, let me come and pick you up if you can't come back. And he told me, Mama, no, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay.
After a little more than a month on the front lines, Yevgeny Pushkarov was killed. For activists working with the families of dead soldiers, it's a familiar story. The fallen from Ukraine will soon join the walls filled with pictures of Russians killed in wars at home and abroad.
Contractors, officers, paratroopers. People were being buried throughout Russia, both either secretly or openly.
By some estimates, more than 4,000 Russians have been killed or are missing in the fighting in eastern Ukraine. They are there for patriotic reasons, but they receive no official recognition from the Russian state.
Yevgeny Pushkarov dreamed of joining the army and was recruited on a social media site. His family was forced to scramble for donations to bring his body home and to pay for his funeral.
I got nothing from the state or from the local administration. It is probably useless to apply to them.
There was no help, she was told, because Russia is not officially at war. But in the Ukrainian city of Donetsk, despite a ceasefire, the war goes on. On the front lines, the battle to control the city's airport is being fought building by building. Officially recognized or not, Russians are still fighting and dying in Ukraine. Norman Hermont, ABC News.